And we're back. That's good. This is a middle perch. Live on the internet, I'm MTK on the MIC, which I've suspended today in hopes of getting better sound, and already I feel it's better, right? Because it feels as if there's no place anymore in society, I made a place like this, a middle perch on the internet. I think society has changed since Facebook, in a super specific way, and today we're gonna talk about that. And I also have grown and changed. I used to say that, I'm a being of the aircraft. Like, there's people from India, like me. I was born in India, and there's people from the United States of America, who are, born Americans and who are naturalized Americans. Like me, I'm an American, And there are people from France and from Mexico and from Russia, people from Japan and Brazil. And I'm not from anywhere. I'm from the aircraft that travels between nations, or the train that takes you across borders, or the boat that sails you from one environment to the other. I'm a creature of the craft. This happened because, I was a little kid. My parents took me around the world, and as a result, I traveled very early, like when I was 2 years old, and then I went traveling around the world several more times, right? Like I did it on my own dime and started to explore places and started to see the commonalities between people. And so I stopped seeing myself as either Indian or American, and I started to see myself much more as a human being. I had a lot more in common with the Chinese than I ever thought was possible when I went over there and spent a couple of years among them. Same in Japan, the same in Portugal, the same in, Ecuador or Mexico or any of the places I've been. Give me enough time and I will find that the commonality between us as human beings, a thing that I think any traveler learns if they do it long enough, and which has been the center of a lot of the works I've made and a lot of the ideas I've put out there. And I was thinking about how we have a comment around here that one of our followers really likes that I'm always quoting, and how it fits into this social media definition of the world we live in. I made this middle perch because I felt, disgusted by the direction that social media has now taken the dialogue. I don't feel that people are actually gaining from that. It's creating echo chambers and so on. And while I've grown and changed as a traveler, the social media generation of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and now TikTok arose to dominate the internet out of a field littered with disposable versions and iterations, MySpace, Vine, and things that fight to stay alive by transforming themselves, SoundCloud, and things that kind of died out but still exist. And so there's a group that sticks with them, like Vimeo, or it's a crazy universe. And within it, you cannot be too threatening. You cannot speak outside the boundaries. I was thinking about that, how we've created a social media universe. And to be an American now, you have to be an American the way they are on social media, where the level of sort of intersection is totally different from the way I intersect at the bus stop or at the grocery store or at the coffee shop or at the bar. And then I was thinking about that Octavio Paz quote that we're always talking about from The Labyrinth of Solitude. Paz, of course, Mexico's first Nobel Prize laureate for literature. He wrote that, quote, the North American, this is a book about the differences between the Mexican and the North American in many ways, but it's about everything really in the universe. And he wrote that, quote, the North American substitutes social truth for real truth, which is always disagreeable, close quote. The North American substitutes social truth for real truth, which is always disagreeable, close quote. And suddenly I started thinking, wow, the whole thing that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, is the social truth. You can't say certain things there because of the self-censorship that's a direct result of how that world exists. And then I started thinking, okay, well, now let's talk about how we got here using our parallel history that we discuss here on the show all the time. The millennium starts with Orwell and then Huxley. That was the thesis we tossed out. The Orwell era is the authoritarian clapback against the attacks that Bush and Cheney author with Rumsfeld and Ashcroft. The complete violation of our rights, Patriot Acts 1 and 2, the FISA, the total surveillance, the fact that Snowden completely came out and said, wait, dude, they're just running with it now because they have carte blanche and license to do so and no one's going to stop them. That was the Orwell, the Orwell authoritarian thing that created the world in which everybody can be spied on by their phones, everybody can be spied on by and then you hitchhike onto that, the transition of the mobile era, which happens under Obama, which is the the softer face, but still conducting the foreign war, still bombing with drones, still doing Guantanamo, still doing all the things. But the softer face side of it is that it gives you this, hey, social media, I'm hip, I'm on it too. And social media becomes the SOMA of Huxley. So the Orwellian beginning, through the transmutation of a young president who's on the ride of the social media and his wife, becomes the narrative of the social media world we all live in now. Jimmy Fallon is soft and David Letterman was cynical, but now we move into a thing where you kind of can't do that, right? And the SOMA is sort of that world. And how it happened in that way, that the social media era happens under Obama, is specific in a way. It times out, hand in glove. And then comes the radical problem that the social media and creating that social truth is an insanity. You can't do that and conduct an election in the field of social truths. You have to conduct an election in the field of real truths. And so the social media created self-censorship. This is the oppressed, us, taking away our own ability to think critically or to offer alternative ideas which may not be popular in social media except in echo chambers where they just stay. And that brings us all the way back to the Federalist Papers, when Madison, I think it's in number 10, states that, this, why won't we have a problem with this voting thing? Well, because we'll keep everybody fractionalized, right? So the very fact that there's so much of it will prevent them from kind of functioning in a way, right? So that's what happens to all of our thoughts and opinions in this social media world. We've censored ourselves because of the rules of that world, and we're not having actual dialogue because we group together in these areas that are echo chambers. The collision between the few who do attempt to cross is filled with two types. One type is a type like myself who's hoping to create a middle perch wherein we can talk rationally and try to create bonds between ourselves as Americans. And the other is spies and or runners who just want to run over there and create havoc and run back, or create dialogue through a kind of constant memeing sarcasm, or straight lies, actually, as we've seen from these insane Trump ads that keep popping up all over the place, to manifest votes at the end of the day. And so I was thinking about all of that, and it all kind of seamlessly comes together in my mind, in my parallel history. And today I thought I would quickly discuss that as we also suspend the mic for the first time. And so let's listen to a track before I read to you this pretty funny piece called Are You on the Apps, which is kind of a comedy piece. I thought we'd lighten it up a little. It's a comedy piece today. Yeah, this miking kind of works, right? I mean, I can, my hands are free now. The levels are pretty good, I think. The music sounds good as well because it's pointing down toward the music as well as to my mouth. Simple things I could have done a long time ago to make this program better, I'm deciding to do, because as we approach the holiday season, I'm going to be producing more. I'm going to be producing with more focus and more kind of specific types of content. Things I do every year here in the studio, in the middle perch. Place where I call it thanks-taking, not Thanksgiving, because basically, they showed up, took everything, and said thanks. So you should call it thanks-taking. A place where I don't really celebrate Christmas, a place where my studio always stays the same, secular. And so from this place of observation, I figure this time around I'll have an opportunity to broadcast, and we're going to do that with a suspended mic. Hey, who knew? Suspending a mic would make such... Bob, did you know? Yeah, I knew. Of course you knew. The world knows. You're just being an idiot. right, so let's check this out. Are You on the Apps by Hallie Cantor from Shouts and Murmurs last week. So how's dating going? Are you on all the apps? There are so many now. I know, it's crazy. Are you on the app where girls have to send the initial message and then guys are only allowed to choose from 20 pre-approved words for the first hour? That way they can't say anything overtly sexual or offensive until after you've spent an hour talking to them. My friend Amanda met her boyfriend doing it. I get it. It's tough out there. Dating seems so different now from the way it was when I was doing it. I was just reading somewhere that young people don't even go on real dates anymore. They just slide into one another's Blue Apron accounts. And if you like the same recipes as someone else, then that person gets delivered to your house with your next meal prep box. It sounds convenient, but I wouldn't know. I've been with Seth for 7 years and we share a toothbrush. I also heard that millennials aren't having sex as much. Like kids don't hook up anymore. Now they just do this thing where they lie down and kind of mash their elbows and legs together in an intertwined position and stay like that. Like eagle pose in yoga, but between two bodies. I think it started with the Amish. It's so funny. Yesterday, Seth thought I said sex and he got all excited, but I was actually saying Seth. But I was going to say, Seth, next time you dock the robot vacuum, can you make sure it actually docks? Because I want to use it and it hadn't been properly charged, so I couldn't. Thanks, sweetie. Oh, have you heard about the plant dating app? It's like you earn a point every time you match with a person, and when you get enough points, it reminds you when to water your plants. But it lets you see new guys only on days when you haven't watered your succulents, I think. I tried to get my single friend Eileen to let me swipe as her the other day, but I accidentally turned her into a Monstera plant, and I'll never remember to water her. I'd forget my head if it weren't for Seth. Sorry, Eileen. What's the name of that other app? The one where if someone doesn't respond to your message, a freelance contract killer goes to his house and kills him for you? I forget the name, but like, thank you, gig economy. Am I right? Lol. Really, don't listen to me. I'm such a boring, old, coupled up person. I don't know anything. In my day, an app meant a bloomin' onion. Just kidding. Actually, Domino's does have that pizza delivery / dating app now, right? You swipe, and then if there's someone nearby who wants to date you, the person shows up within 30 minutes or your pizza's free. It almost sounds kind of fun, like a game. If you wanted, I could swipe for you for a while just for fun. I mean, thank God I'm not on the apps, but it would be fun for like a day. Are you on that one where you put your name, age, credit card number, whatever on your profile, and it matches you with other users who have bought the same paper towels and other household goods? And then you get the paper towels too. It's sort of a dating app meets, well, a website where you buy paper towels, but you save money by getting them every week. Oh my gosh, do you belong to Costco? It made our lives a million times easier. Sometimes I look at Seth's body in bed and I feel like it's my body and I can't tell the difference. Ha ha ha. I'm so glad I'm not single anymore. Last week I came home and heard him crying in the driveway. So I drove around the block a few times so I could keep listening to my podcast instead of comforting him. Fun. But anyway, who needs dating, you know? There's so much good TV right now. That by Hallie Cantor. Little commie. To end the sesh today. Of suspended microphones and the musical interludes as we make our middle perch in the universe. Yes, the universe. This is a middle perch, and I'm MTK on the MIC. Thank you for your attention. We now return you to your original programming.